Hey guys, I am going to start off doing care sheets, I guess you could call them, for different genuses out there. Someone requested that I do that, so I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start off with my favorite genus out there, and that's the Brachypelma. The reason why I like Brachypelma so much is because they are long-lived. I love the colorations of them. There's so many different species out there of the Brachypelma, and I also prefer the tarantulas that make good display teas that don't burrow quite as much, more terrestrial. I like the brackies because they're bulky. I like the bulky tarantulas, and also they're pretty good eaters, and they're hardy. So there you have it. Well, this is the enclosure of my Brachypelma vagans. This is just a regular shoebox size critter keeper that houses my female. And she's about, I've never measured her, but somewhere between, I'd say around 4 inches. So she's not quite full grown yet. But let's take a look. Alright, bear in mind that this is how I keep my tarantulas. You don't have to go by this exactly. It's just one of those things that if your tea is living, you must be doing something right. They're thriving, they're living, they're eating, you know that you must be doing something right. So just, this is just how I do it. You can do it another way that you might hear from somewhere else if it's working for them, but this is what works for me. Brachypelmas like it on the dry side, and you may have noticed that I got rid of that water dish. I decided to put in one of these deli cup water dishes instead. They do like it on the drier side, so all you really need to do is just make sure they have water to drink at all times. You can overflow the water dish if you wish. Many of them do like to have a cave, at least as an option. So the vagans definitely appreciates a cave. So yeah, so you don't have to have like much humidity in here at all. Just like I said, just the water dish in there will keep the humidity where it needs to be for this particular species. As far as temperature goes, I usually keep the house in the winter time around 72. Now some people may prefer to have theirs a little warmer than that, but mine does just fine. And then I do have a space heater in here that I use as well to add a little extra heat as needed. So I just kind of go with the rule of thumb. If you're comfortable, your tarantulas are probably comfortable too. Now, obviously, some are a little more sensitive than others as far as temperature goes, but brackies are very hardy tarantulas, and as long as you don't go overboard on either side, you don't want it too hot, you don't want it too cold. But anyway, let's take a look at my brackies. So this first one is the Brachypelma vagans, the Mexican red rump. And here is my beauty right here. She is actually a pretty skittish tarantula. As far as brackies go, the vagans do have a tendency to be more on the skittish side compared to your more docile species. But yeah, these guys, I've only held this girl like maybe 3 or 4 times ever, and I've had her since 2011, I think. So she was like the 3rd tarantula I ever got, so I've had her a while. But yeah, I mean, she has thrown up some threat postures. As you know, Brachypelmas do have the urticating hair, which they readily kick. You can see all the hairs there on the abdomen. So yes, and she is no exception. She does readily kick hairs. And like I said, she has thrown some threat postures before. But as you can see, my cocoa fiber, Eco Earth cocoa fiber, is bone dry, and she's perfectly fine with that. And just to kind of give you an idea of her personality, now she might make a liar out of me, you never know. These vagans can be a little unpredictable sometimes. She's surprisingly taking that well for the moment. Let's see. Okay, well, she actually took that quite well. She, like I said, definitely has thrown some threat displays several times. So, but yeah, I just wanted to show you what she looks like. These guys are just so beautiful with their reddish hairs on the abdomen there and the velvet black body. Oh, they're just beautiful. And they're very easy to acquire. They create pretty large egg sacs, and so, you know, that's why they're so affordable. This is probably the most affordable Brachypelma out there that I know of. There might be more out there. I don't know how much the Verdezi costs, but the vagans is definitely the cheaper of the brackies. So there you go. There's that one. So I'm going to put the cave back on top of her, and we'll go on to another specimen. Alright guys, here is the second brachy I would like to show you. This is the one that you will probably see most of the time in movies and whatnot. This is the Brachypelma smithi, the Mexican red knee. Very popular because of their longevity and hardiness, and mostly gentle disposition. Coloration is just gorgeous as all get out, and very good eaters. You keep it the same way that you would the vagans. You provide a hide, which they may or may not use, but it's always good to have that option. The decor is optional. And then just like with the vagans, I just have water in the water dish at all times, and that one will be perfectly healthy in your care with dry substrate. So this particular one is a juvie. This one's about 2 inches. I really love how these guys are long-lived. I mean, I love brachy so much, and now this one is going into pre-molt, so the coloration isn't as vibrant as it could be. The orange would be a lot more vibrant on the knees if it had already molted. But this one, as you can see, the abdomen is dark and getting swollen. And so it just, once they're in pre-molt though, it takes them a while to go through that, because they're just, you know, they're long-lived, so their molting is going to take a while too. So yeah, once they start pre-molt, you could probably expect them to be in pre-molt for up to a month. It's just crazy, but that's just the way it goes. But yes, just like with the vagans, they also readily kick hairs when they feel threatened. I would say these are more laid back though than the vagans. The vagans is more skittish than the red knees here. That's just what I have observed, either with my own specimens or watching other people's channels, that the smithies will, you know, are more likely to kick hair and run than to throw you up a threat posture and bite. The vagans is more willing to stand their ground and bite than the smithi. But yeah, these guys are really cool. They are a little pricey though. They're not as cheap as the vagans, unfortunately. See, this one, I do not remember how much this would cost me. Oh dear, 40s? No, 50s or 60s, I think. But sexed females, adults can run up to what, 160, 200 something dollars. It depends on who you buy it from. But so yeah, I really hope this one turns out to be a female, because my last one was a male and is since died. So hopefully this one will turn out to be a female, so I'll have this one for a very long time. Alright, let's move on to a different specimen. This is my Brachypelma albopilosum, the Honduran curly hair. This is another affordable Brachypelma, just like your vagans. These are usually see these sold almost anywhere. So therefore they're cheap to acquire. Again, just like with the smithi, these guys are pretty laid back. I do know one fellow who has a defensive albopilosum, but it's just one of those things where personalities vary. That's just the way it goes. You know, some people have docile OBTs, and that doesn't happen very often. Well, in this case, the person I know has a highly defensive albopilosum, but the majority of them are docile. Again, they would rather flick hairs and run than get any defensive posture. Can't escape from the camera. Little stinker. Well, just like with the previous ones, I keep the substrate dry, water in the water dish, and they're good to go. And there's a hide right there. This one's out in the open quite a bit, but also likes to take advantage of its hide. Usually when these guys are slings, they like to burrow. Sling, when I had, well, when this one was a sling, it definitely did like to burrow. But now that it's gotten older, starting around juvie age, maybe subadult, like now, it's out in the open more, or at least it definitely doesn't burrow anymore. So it either stays in its cave or it's out in the open like what you saw. But this one will let me handle her, so that's awesome. But yeah, she was one of the first ones I've had also. And I really love these guys because not only are they laid back, but they also have that fuzzy, cuddly look. You know, all those hairs. It kind of gives them that real sweet, cuddly look. You know, kind of like the puppy dog of the spider world. They're just really adorable. And you know, they don't have all the beautiful colors like your smithi and your bomi, you know, and all them, but they make up for it by their cute fuzzy appearance. So yes, there's the albopilosum. She's a subadult. So let me show you now my juvie. And here's what a juvenile Brachypelma albopilosum looks like. Really not much different, just a smaller version of the subadult that you just saw. So yes, now this one's already gotten out of its burrowing phase, so it's out in the open all the time. But I do have some foliage here, fake foliage, that it can hide in if it wants to. But yeah, I really love how these guys are such good eaters too. Yeah, brackies are just awesome. So yeah, there's my sweet little juvenile. This one is a male, an immature male. I would say this one's about 2 inches. But yeah. Alright, and my larger one that you just saw was about the same size as my vagans, about 4 inches or so, 4.5, something like that. But yeah. Alright, let's look at some more brackies. Here is my sling Brachypelma albiceps, the Mexican golden red rump. This specimen is only about 1.5 inches. These guys aren't much to look at when they're slings, but oh my goodness, they are gorgeous as adults. They have the golden, cream-colored, well, more like cream-colored carapace, and the abdomen is like, you know, reddish hair, similar to the vagans, and then the body, like the legs and all, are like velvety black. Oh, they're just beautiful. One of my favorite brackies. So yes, and this one here, I do not have a cave, but I have a leaf it could hide under if it wishes. And see, it's just a real tiny enclosure like that. Perfect size for this one. And just got a, you know, same as the last one, just a little bottle cap water dish. But yeah, that's the albiceps. Sorry about that sound in the background. It's something with the dryer making a weird squeaking sound. I've never heard that before. Alright, let's move on. See what else I got. And here is my Brachypelma emilia, the Mexican, I think it's called the blood leg, is that right? These guys are really cool looking, not as slings as you can see. This one is only an inch. They're kind of boring looking at this stage, but I don't know when it's going to start. It might be a couple more molts, but they develop this triangular looking shape on their carapace, which really looks cool. It almost looks like they're wearing a mask, and so that's your big sign there that you got yourself an emilia. So yes, they're really gorgeous tarantulas. Kind of have the reddish brownish legs, so yeah, just kind of like a tan and black brownish color, but it's just really cool to see that triangle shape on the carapace. But they are absolutely gorgeous, and you know, I got this one in the same type enclosure that my albiceps is in, so I got some flowers to hide behind, which it was actually until I bothered it. But yeah, this is another one I think that's been in pre-molt forever, but doing just fine. Alright, let's see, how many more brackies do I have? I think one or two. One, I think. Alright, let's go check it out. Well, just like the emilia, this one is not much to look at right now, but will look gorgeous as it gets older. This is the Brachypelma klassi, the Mexican pink. With this one, I have it in a deli cup. You can usually get these free when you go to a restaurant, a sit-down restaurant. You can add, you know, that they usually put like their honey mustard and ketchup in it. You know, they might have some spare ones they can give you for free, so you could do that. But I got these at the Dollar Tree, very cheap, so they're very easy to find. Too small to put a water dish in there, so what I do with this one is I just spray it down, like maybe half of the enclosure. I'll put water and then like have it a dry side too, and it can get a drink off the sides of the enclosure, the substrate, or even on top of the fake flower. But these guys are just absolutely gorgeous as they get older, because they get kind of that fluffy appearance that like the albopilosum has almost, except they have pinkish hairs on their bodies. Oh my goodness, they are so beautiful. So yes, definitely worth the wait. And it is fun to, you know, even though they're not much to look at when they're this size, it is fun to see how after each molt, you know, what they look like and how they're developing. It's really cool. And can you believe that out of all of these spiders I've just shown you, I do not have my favorite brachy? My favorite brachy is the Brachypelma bomi. And I used to have one, but it died when it got stuck in a molt, because I was sick in the hospital at the time, and there was no one to keep the spider hydrated, and therefore it died and it got stuck in a molt. So that was really bad, because that was one of my favorite spiders, so I was not a happy camper. Someday I'm going to get me another one though. But again, these get kind of pricey. Like your, let's see, pretty much the only brackies that I know about that are affordable are like the albopilosums and the vagans. They're probably the cheapest. Now, like I said, verdezi, maybe they are too. I don't remember for sure. But these other ones can kind of get up there in price, especially as female adults. But yes, so I do not have a bomi yet. Someday I hope to. Alright guys, so yes, Brachypelma, very easy tarantulas to care for. I do recommend them for the beginner. In fact, usually when people ask me, you know, what tarantulas do you recommend for beginners? Brachypelma is always on that list, because like I said, they're hardy, they eat well, they're beautiful. There's so many different species out there that with different colorations, patterns, and I really love how they're long-lived, and most of them are easygoing despite the hair flickiness. But yeah, so there you have it, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me, and I'll do the best I can to answer it for you. And any of you guys who are experienced, if I missed anything, feel free to add it in the comments, because knowing me, I probably did miss something important. But so stay tuned for the next care sheet type video I'll do. I don't know which genus I'm going to do next, but we'll see. It'll be a surprise. Alright guys, thanks.